Good afternoon, London, on this snowy day. My name's Hina, and I'm coming to you from the Master Shah Dow Center Global, but the center in London. And I welcome all of you on this amazing day of International Women's Day. Now, as it's International Women's Day, we have one of our teachers here at the center, Ela Kagram. So welcome, Ela.
Hi, thank you, Hina. Thank you, everyone. Lovely to be here.
Thank you so much for taking your time to speak to us today on our Facebook Live show. So, Ela, I find it very synergistic that today's International Women's Day, and I find that you definitely embody a lot of the feminine or the yin qualities of women: gentleness, loving, compassion. And can you briefly tell some of our, especially our newer friends, but even our older participants, why is it so important in today's world to embody these more feminine qualities, regardless if you're a man or woman?
Thank you so much, Hina. I feel very honored. I feel very grateful for that. It's very important for us because actually the world is always fighting, you know, they're fighting to strive for something, to become something, to be something, to get somewhere. And it's always a constant fight and it's a battle. But actually, if we just step out of the battle and we just go into that nature and the quality of no fighting, then we already have that stability, the calmness that we can handle anything. And that's the key. The key is to come out of that fighting world. We don't have to fight for anything. The truth is really we just have to be ourselves. And when we can be ourselves, we can actually grow in a much more profound way. Then there's no battle to get somewhere. There's no battle to become something. There's no battle to strive to, accomplish something. You just go with the nature's flow. If you look at nature, nature is gentle. If you see a stream of water, it's just moving by itself. If you see even a tree or a flower growing, there's no aggression around it. And it's very important to understand that and listen to that nature, see that nature, so that we can become an embodiment of it. And I hope that we can all do that, because it doesn't matter, irrespective whether we're male or female, we all need to embody those qualities, the gentleness of that yin nature, the calmness, the groundedness. So thank you, Hina.
Mhm. Yes, and actually, you've already touched upon my next question for you, in that yes, especially in nature, they do everything grows in its own time. There's no pushing or forcing. So today, in today's world, a lot of people are taught and conditioned to achieve something and to be something, accomplish something. And there's always that pushing to continue to
Mhm.
grow, to keep going. So how can we balance that conditioning that many of us grew up with allowing? How do we know when to push full force and go for it versus, okay, now it's the time for me to be still and give the space and allow it to come in? How can we balance those two aspects?
The key is actually our true self, our nature. When we are striving to achieve something, when we're striving to get something, what is it that we're striving to get? What is it that we're striving to achieve? Is it to be like something else, to be like someone else? Is it to accomplish something because we see that being accomplished and we see that acknowledged? Or is it really just for you to just be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday or even this morning? And that's the key difference. I always ask this question to people when they want to get something, they have a goal, and, goal setting has become a really big thing. Let's set goals, and it's important, yes, but not to the detriment of losing yourself through it. So the key question around this is, why do I want to achieve this? What is it about this that I want to achieve? Is it to get an acknowledgement? Is it to get some stability? What is it? And I think that's a really important question we can ask ourselves. If we can really understand that, we can understand the why we do the things we are doing, rather than just being in that moment and just letting everything flow through you. Because if you go into that space of just, okay, what can I do? What can I be that I can become better today than I was yesterday? Then there's nothing to achieve. There's only that stability of growing, in that sense of things. So, I guess this comes with that yin yang of expression of being ambitious, striving for things, getting things. And that's the modern day world we are living in, right? That for example, I'll give you my story actually, Hina. For years and years, I wanted to write a book. I didn't know why I wanted to write a book. I just felt I wanted to write a book, and I never had the courage to do it. And then somebody approached me to see if I would be in part of an anthology to do it. And she says, this will be really good. Then you can be known as an author. After I did it, I had the greatest sense of release that I did it. But I never used that like I'm an author, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because that was little accomplishment for myself, so that I could release something within myself. I did it. Then it doesn't matter. What does it matter? Master Shah, he teaches the Tao Te Ching on Mondays, which is really, really profound. And Master Shah says, when we go right to the top, where's the only way? The only way is down, right? So just strive to be consistent. And that's what I do. I just strive to be consistent. I strive to be consistent within myself and to become better than I was yesterday. Then you do accomplish, you do reach, and you don't even have to battle with it. So I hope that answers a question in a roundabout way.
Hmm. No, it does. It does. I think, because the feminine qualities have been something that have been just so suppressed for so long that
Mm.
now it seems like the world is really trying to catch up to embody it more. And the thing that I have found absolutely fascinating about what you've said so far is that, yes, the feminine qualities or the yin qualities are all around us. They're in nature. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't mean what you do or what you say. It's kind of like a being and having that nature within you. And it is quite hard actually to talk about yin energy or yin natures without bringing in Lao Tzu, who in Master Shah's Facebook, every Monday, Master Shah has a Facebook show where he teaches the Tao Te Ching, his interpretation, 7 p.m. United Kingdom time. And he's constantly saying how Lao Tzu is always emphasizing the gentleness, the feminine qualities, the softness, and the concept of wu wei, doing nothing yet everything gets done, which is how you mentioned earlier about like the flowers growing. There's nothing to do. Like you can't force the flower to grow. You
Mm.
just have to leave it alone, or a vegetable or a plant. You leave it alone and it grows. And I think it's become such, the yin qualities, the yin nature have become such a foreign concept, unfortunately, in today's modern society, that it's going to take some time. And there's so many different layers of it. So, can you just, because it is a little bit of a reach for the majority of people right now, the majority of humanity, can you explain, just to explain a little bit more, how can males or men display their feminine qualities without being like judgmental? Or what are some of the feminine qualities that both men and women, but especially men, can display more?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because if we think about it, when a male is is embodying some of those qualities, what are some of the things the world says? Oh, he's got his feminine side. His feminine side is strong, right? It makes it like to be a derogatory thing, but why is it derogatory? We all have the male and the feminine within us. And actually the key for all qualities of being in that yin quality is compassion. you know when we have that sense of compassion, we have that sense of understanding. When we have that sense of understanding, we have that sense of being in alignment with people to bring that out in them. And I had, years and years ago, I used to work for Virgin Airways, and I had an most amazing boss. I was with him for 14 years. I never left his side, and he didn't leave me anywhere. Where he went up, he took me along with him. He had the most amazing yin qualities you can come across. He was so gentle, he was so compassionate, and yet, his success was that no one left the department. No one did. In 15 years that I was there, not one person left. And that goes to show that people need that. That goes to show people honor that. And that goes to show how actually, as a male, if we embody that quality, we are connecting to that quality in the other. And that's why it's really, really important. And you're right, because in this world where actually, striving to be something, to become something, to achieve something, to be the best of something has become such a norm that people have forgotten their true nature. And actually, if we think about our true nature is the yin qualities, our true nature is the yang qualities. We're in balance. But what we've done is we've taken the yang nature, always have to be the strong one, to always be, you think of a family. I speak about my sister, my elder sister. She's a daughter, and she's always had that quality of yang quality. And recently I started to see this yin quality about her. And I'm like, wow, this is really interesting, because for years she stepped into being the elder son role. And now she doesn't need to be that. Now she's starting to come back to her true nature. So we have it. We don't have to look anywhere for it. We have it. Every male, every female has it. The key is compassion. Compassion to who? Compassion to those around us, just to have that understanding nature. If you have that understanding nature, there's no fighting. You know, if you have that understanding nature, there is balance. And when you have that understanding nature, that is most the endearing quality of a yin quality that we can bring out. Because when we have that understanding nature, we can be balanced, we can be grounded. Who doesn't need to be grounded today? You know, the yin nature is not often spoken about that. The yin nature is being grounded. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Well, yeah, that just sounds, you've made something that is almost a foreign and very complicated concept, even though it's only 3 letters, the yin, actually very relatable. Just 2 things: compassion and being grounded. You really distilled all that wisdom into 2 things, which is really amazing. So thank you for that. I saw Anand wrote a comment. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you. Happy International Women's Day to you too, Anand. And Kanchan said, Namaste, Ila, everyone, and everything. And Johannes says hi as well, and so does Kiro. So, Ila, just one very last question before we let you go, because I truly am enjoying all the wisdom that you're explaining to us. Now, for women especially, the ones who have been conditioned to kind of act a certain way in their jobs, as in, we can't be a pushover, but then we can't be too bossy. And what is your advice for the women who are in the corporate world or whichever type of profession where they necessarily can't be too soft or gentle? How do you propose for them to navigate that in the current way the world is right now?
Very, very good and important question here, actually. In my time when I worked in corporate world, I worked in an all-male department. I was the only female in that department. And, I went in and I said, I can either become like them or I can stay who I am to balance everything out. And I stayed who I was. And the key around this is, do you want to become something you are not, and then go home and feel drained because you've had to play a part? Or do you want to just be yourself and come home and feel free? We don't have to become a man in a man's world. We don't have to become the masculine in a masculine driven world. We can be who we are, and actually who we are is the strength. You know, I saw someone put a quote actually on Facebook today. I really liked it, and I just want to read. I took it, and it said, "To know the strong masculine principle, yet abide by the gentle female principle, is like being a mountain stream for all under heaven." You know, that's Lao Tzu and Tao Te Ching again. I thought that was a beautiful quote. So for all those women who are living in a male-dominated world, you know, let this go. Be your true self. Just be comfortable in who you are. Be comfortable in your body. Be comfortable in your heart. Everything else will meld with you. But when you step out of being you to meld with everything else, and everything else keeps consistently changing, you'll be lost forever. So don't strive to be in that male-dominated world. Be your gentle self. Be that loving, compassionate soul. There is nothing wrong in being loving and compassionate. There is nothing wrong in being gentle. And in fact, think of it this way. What would we do without our mothers? Our mothers are the epitome. They're the symbol of gentleness. They're the symbol of the yin, right? But are they also not strong? So yin doesn't mean to be weak. Yin means to embody that part of you that you are innately here to be. And that's the message that I'd give everybody. You know, I've many times on Women's Day, I've spoken to a whole bunch of women because of my story. You know, I've gone through a lot of abusive lives in my past life of, you know, marriage and working in an environment which was really heavy for me. But one thing that I never did is, and I never changed who I was. I never fought back. I never started to become aggressive. And yet here I am, years later, I'm still grounded. And when we stop for a moment in that space, you know what? It's freedom. And that's what we want to strive for. You know, I often say to people, yin stands for you in the now. I always say this to people, you be in the now. You know, what is it in the now you need to do? So don't think about the forward part, future, or the past. Just be in the moment now. So thank you for that.
Well, I have to say thank you so much because this has been an absolutely enlightening and absolutely delightful conversation. So thank you so, so much.
Thank you so
So
much.
we're coming to the end of our time, and I'll just repeat a couple of the main issues that Ela had mentioned, which I find absolutely, like for me personally, I find absolutely inspiring. One, to be compassionate. Two, yin is actually takes a lot of strength, which is true. It really it takes a lot of strength to be compassionate and have that open heart and deal with everything going around you. And number three, just be yourself. So if
Mhm.
you're a male and you tend to have feminine qualities or mannerisms or whatever it is, good for you. Be yourself. And if you're and if you're a woman and whatever qualities that are external, great. But it's more important to have these qualities internal and just to be yourself. And the thing I loved what you said earlier was with the world that's constantly changing, if we keep pretending to be this person and then it
Mhm.
changes and we're pretending to be this person, then the world changes and now we're this, we've lost ourselves. So thank you so much because to me, I mean, I could go deeper and deeper in your wisdom. So thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed today's International Women's Day Wednesday Facebook Live. So thank you. And we will be having you soon, very, very soon, I'm sure. So,
Thank you.
everybody, if you would like to go deeper in understanding yin qualities and how to increase your yin qualities, to embody these yin qualities, the Master Sha Dao Center tonight actually is having a totally complimentary Dao Healing Technology Night, where tonight we are going to have one of the teachers here at the center, Natalie Schöpflin, and she's going to walk us through and how to increase our yin energy or our yin qualities, which, as you can see from this conversation, really has so many different angles and aspects. And also, which is actually really interestingly timed, is that a lot of the quotes and what we spoke about today was from Lao Tzu with the nature. And I think one of the quotes I just heard today earlier from someone else was know the yang, know the masculine, but abide by the yin or abide by the feminine. Lao Tzu quotes, be like water, be gentle, have an open heart like the female. He really emphasizes the female qualities. So we are actually having a Tao retreat this weekend, March 11th and 12th. So please join us if you're interested in knowing more about some of the quotes from Lao Tzu, but even how to balance your yin yang energies. This is a very, very, actually, it's an advanced workshop. So if you're a Tao Healing Hands practitioners, you meet the prerequisites. So please join us. If you're interested, but you're not a Tao Healing Hands practitioner, but you want to come, you can send us an email and we can check for you. So I thank you so much to all the people who have viewed this show. I thank deeply Ela for coming on and just having a beautiful conversation with her. And I also urge anyone who's seen this Facebook Live, please share it, spread the word. If you know anyone who's looking for increases in their health or experiencing any challenges, or is just interested in yin-yang balance, balancing their bodies, being in more harmony, or some of the Tao teachings, please forward this Facebook Live, because you never know whose life you are going to change just by pressing one button that says share. So I thank you so much, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Once again, my name's Hina, and I hope to see you soon at the Master Sha Tao Center here in London. Thank you, and goodbye.